Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting installment of what the streets have deemed Big Time Tuesday at the Belmont, the prestigious Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Forum. Come on now. Deserve a few balls of piano when we talk about Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Morning Forum. Serving Charlotte as the premier source of direct-to-community information for well over 50 years. Pardon my voice. It was I earned it. It's a merit-based ash in my voice, but please, Mexico weekend did that. But my name is Winston Robinson. I'm your facilitator today, along with distinguished co-facilitators, Ms. Laura McCletty, Ms. Carlenia Ivory Canty, Ms. Jackie Edwards Walton, Ms. Nathalie McElrath, our timekeeper, Ms. Mary Johnson, Mr. Shay Abdullah, Mr. Gary Young, Ms. Jasmine Wright, Mr. Robert Collins, Mr. Rita Sherrill, our chaplain, Dr. Blanche Penn, Ms. Tina Marshall, our website editor and archivist, Mr. Steve Johnston, and the one-man house band, Dr. Thomas. Give them one time. Our forum runs from 8:30 to 9:45 a.m., followed by announcements from the audience. As tradition holds, we begin with a prayer. Mr. Lilly.
Let me say good morning to everyone who are here and to those who are joining in way online. It's a blessed day, so let us give thanks for it. Father God, we praise you, we honor you, we're grateful to you for blessing us to wake up this day with the most precious thing we can have, that is the gift of life. We ask that you continue to bless this forum, that it will be able to bring people in, to keep us informed with what's going on within our community. We pray that we as a people will continue to seek to be together as a community, to give you honor, praise, and thanks for how you have blessed us. For it's in our Son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Lilly. And again, y'all, we are here to have some conversation about the things we do not typically enjoy talking about: legacy planning, burial, even getting headstone. Who did the body? Black folks say. We're going to learn about all that. Who did the body indeed? So there's Nekie Boyd, who are our did the body options that we are going to speak about today. So, without further ado, whenever you're ready, Ms. Nekie Boyd, here to talk about, again, legacy planning and all of those things we need to know.
Happy New Day, everyone. Happy New Day. How y'all doing this morning? Y'all doing all right? Okay, all right. So this may come as across as a somber topic, but it's really not. You really should be excited that you have another day, right? You have another day to get right, get what you need in order. My name is Nekie Boyd. I am a Charlotte native. Okay, so I'm very excited to still be here in Charlotte to be a part of all that we do. Carolina Sunrise Services is the business that I am representing today. So you should have three pieces. You should have three pieces of paper. One will be a small flyer that will give you all the information regarding who Carolina Sunrise Services is. The other thing you should have is an index card. And the third piece should be a 8.5 by 11, one piece of paper. And so if you need a pen, April can give you a pen. She'll be more than happy to give you a pen if you need a pen. Just raise your hand if you need a pen, and she will assist you with that. Today, I am excited to be before you so that we can get information regarding final arrangements. And how many of you have had an opportunity to get at least your last will and testament completed? Raise your hand. Okay, awesome. Okay. So if you are in the room and you have not gotten your last will and testament done, I want you to know that today we are going to be raffling off, at least for one person, a complimentary last will and testament, okay? All right. And this is what I want you to do. On the index card, I want you to write down a 3-digit number. Just a 3-digit number. That's all I need for you to do is write down a 3-digit number on the index card. Okay? Y'all with me? All right. And on that blank sheet of paper, I want you to do me another favor, because this is going to be a piece of paper where you're going to be taking notes, okay? So I don't want anyone to walk away today without a detailed description of at least 3 of these sections of information that we're going to discuss. So at the very top, to your left, write the name of the business. That is, here's your cheat sheet. The name of the business is Carolina Sunrise Services. So all the way at the top, all the way to the left, write Carolina Sunrise Services. Underneath Carolina Sunrise Services, I want you to write the phone number. Here's your cheat sheet. It is 704-281-2989. And I want to say thank you to those of you that are watching us as we are streaming live. So I'm making this very interactive, so those of you that are not with us, you have the same information as those that are in the room. Okay? All right, all the way to the right at the top, I want you to write your name and today's date. Your name and today's date. Okay? Now, I want you to draw a line all the way down the middle of your page. And then in the half of the middle of that page, I want you to write another line. So I want you to go down the page and then left to right. So you should end up with 4 boxes. Down the page and then left to right. So you have 4 big boxes on your page. All right. Okay. So that's going to be our note for today. I want to tell you a little bit about Carolina Sunrise Services. Carolina Sunrise Services provides all of us, no matter where we live, okay? So we work with not just Charlotte, but we work with people in other states as well. But what we do is we provide you with your first line of preparation, which is your last will and testament. And for those of you that already have your last will and testament, congratulations. For those of us that do not have our last will and testament, let me tell you here on your sheet, number one, it lets you know that the last will and testament, if you are 25 years or younger, is $75 with Carolina Sunrise Services. If you are 25 years or younger, so this will be your children, your grandchildren, right? We have a lot of youth, right, that are leaving here, and they have children. They don't have a last will and testament. They don't even have anything in place to tell you. And listen, our young people they're gaining assets. They're owning homes. They're doing a lot of things, but they're not thinking about protection and who would be the guardian for their child if something should happen to them. If you are 26 years or older, on your cheat sheet here, it tells you that your last will and testament is $150. $150. Now, you can go and look up the prices for last will and testaments, and typically they range about $300 to $1,000, okay, for you to sit down with a professional to get what you need and get all the answers and questions that you need. Carolina Sunrise Services provides you with a free Zoom consultation. So that means that you, by yourself or with family members, can get on a Zoom call and get all of your questions answered and get an in-depth conversation going regarding whatever it is that you are interested in as it relates to your final wishes. Any questions so far? Okay, good. Now, with your last will and testament, okay, there is no right or wrong way to do your last will and testament because it's your wishes. But I will say, if you have a trust, then everything that you own will go into that trust, okay? And the persons or person that you have that is listed as your executor, which is the person that will execute your last will and testament, that person will be named in your will and or your trust. So let's look at a few things. What are the reasons why we need a last will and testament? Peace of mind. Peace of mind allows you to know that you're not leaving your family in chaos and confusion. All of us, including myself, we have witnessed and experienced either firsthand or second, third hand, where families are in chaos and confusion because the person that transitioned did not have their wishes documented. They did not give us a blueprint as to what it is they wanted if something shall happen to them. Something shall happen to you doesn't necessarily mean death. It could mean that you are not able to just speak for yourself, right? You could be in a hospital in a position where you cannot say what you want, what your wishes are. And sometimes that may not be reversible. You may not ever leave the hospital and go home. Some people leave the hospital and they go on to a cemetery. And we don't want our loved ones to be in a position where we have not prepared them for what they need, right? You are my loved one. We are family. This is a village. So I'm here because we have one, you don't know if today's that day. So we want to make sure that we put our plans in position and make sure that they're documented and make sure that they are left with people that we trust. Number 2, support specific beneficiaries. Children oftentimes aren't old enough to be the beneficiary of a policy that you've left them, okay? So your last will and testament will give the courts, because ultimately it is the courts that will initially get involved, but will give them direction as to what your wishes are. Your last will and testament will also cover those of you that are unmarried, that have partners, those of you that want to leave something to your partner, but you're not legally tied to them. Your last will and testament will cover them, all right? So that would be again, a person that you're not related to. Also, a lot of you want to leave money to charities. You want to have that documented in your last will and testament, a percentage or a particular dollar amount of money that you would like left to a charity. Now, as we look at estate planning and all the things that come with probate court, all of us, okay, and everyone that you know that's no longer here has had to experience some part of probate court, whether it's small, whether it's large. The less you have documented, the more your family members will have to deal with probate court. And probate court will decide for you if you don't document it for yourself. And they may decide against what your wishes are if you don't document your wishes. Does that make sense so far? Okay. So right now, what I want you to do is, under the first box, under Carolina Summer Services, I want you to write last will and testament. I want you to write last will and testament under your first box at the top to the left. Under Carolina Summer Services, write last will and testament. And under that, I want you to write something that I just said that you remember, that was important to you, or maybe that you already know that you haven't shared with someone. Under last will and testament, can somebody give me one thing that I just said? Yes, sir.
Probate courts will make decisions for you if you don't make them yourself.
All right, one more person. One more person, give me something I just said.
Everyone will deal with probate.
Everyone will possibly deal with probate. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Minors can't receive any, or cannot be benefited.
Right. So let me say this. What will happen is, if you neglect to document what you want to happen with your face amount, let's just say you do have life insurance, and we're going to get to that. Let's say you do have life insurance, and you left your children as the beneficiaries of a life insurance policy, but they're minors. They will be appointed someone through our legal system, and they will handle that money. Not your mother, not the father. The courts will allow a person to be appointed through the legal system. So you have to make sure that you document everything, because sometimes the courts don't know if the other parent is the person that you would have wanted to be left to manage a $500,000 policy, a $50,000 policy, a $10,000 policy, right? So they will appoint someone if you have not made your wishes very clear. And let's be clear, family members contest. You can contest. Anything can be contested. Even what you put in your will can be contested. Okay? That doesn't necessarily, that's just like in our court system. Okay? If someone is accused of something, you may not have done it, but you still have to stand up to make sure that you speak on behalf of yourself, right? Yes, ma'am.
This is Nekie Boyd. So we typically have a format where we allow you to do your presentation, then we respond to the audience questions.
Okay, all right, so no questions. No questions.
But when you're done with your presentation, we're going to have a question segment.
Absolutely.
We want to allow you to get through that.
Thank you. Okay. So in the last will and testament box, does everyone have something that I said that made sense to them, that they've held on to, that they can act on and share, right? Okay. We're going to slide right next to that box. At the top of that box, I want you to write unmarked graves. Unmarked graves. Carolina Sunrise Services provides you with premium upright headstones and flat bronze markers. Now, this particular service is only available in North and South Carolina. So we provide these services to any said cemetery in North and South Carolina, hosting, okay? And what unmarked graves means is that we know that there are people buried in cemeteries, whether they're church cemeteries, private cemeteries, public cemeteries, and they're not marked. In our history, in our Black history, we were not afforded the opportunity to mark our loved ones' graves. No headstones, no markers. Right now, still today, in North Carolina, there are thousands across the state, thousands of unmarked graves. Now, some of those graves date back into the days that our people were enslaved, but some of those date back to we've been living, and we have a mother, grandmother, an auntie, a cousin, a child that transitioned, and a marker was not placed on that grave, or a headstone was not placed on that grave. Or if you live in South Carolina, they call them slants, right? All that is are monuments to identify the person in this said plot, which is a grave, okay? Carolina Sunrise Services provides you with premium. That means that all of the cemeteries that sell all of the markers, right? All of the headstones, Carolina Sunrise Services has developed relationships with those same said distributors, but give you wholesale pricing. So you will not pay the same for your headstone and your marker that you would pay at any cemetery or at any cemetery in North or South Carolina. Okay? So you get the same premium style marker, better pricing. Carolina Sunrise Services provides you with payment arrangements, so you don't have to pay it all up front. Zero interest, zero financing, zero interest. So when you pay today, you set up a payment arrangement. At the end of the 90 days, because you get 90 days to pay it off, right? You're going to pay the same dollar amount, same as cash. If there's situations or circumstances where you need more time, by case, Carolina Sunrise Services, they work with your family. But what I charge you to do in this box, where you have unmarked graves, I want you to list 3 people that you know, and this worksheet is for you, okay? This is not for me. 3 people that you know that are in unmarked graves right now. 3 people that you know in unmarked graves. All right, we're gonna move down below, so we're gonna go back to the left side of our page. And in this box, I want you to write funeral expense plan. Funeral expense plan. Just by show of hands, no words. How many of you have life insurance? Okay. All right. This funeral home expense plan with Carolina Sunrise Services does not replace your life insurance. This plan is for everyone in this room, whether you have life insurance or not. For $130 a year, this is an annual investment. So if you started your plan today and you live through today next year to 2027, congratulations, hallelujah. Okay? But let's just say something happens between today and 2027. What do you have to cover yourself? What do you have in place so your family members don't have to beg, borrow, and fish fry, GoFundMe, Cash App requests in your name? I know, you know, we've all seen it, we've all experienced it or observed families not being able to properly memorialize their family members because that person that transitioned had no life insurance, no burial coverage. This is the way life has worked for us. Most of us as young people did not have these conversations with our family members. So children, first of all, don't typically have life coverage. And I mean from a child. We have to change that. And I'm gonna tell you why. You may be sitting here right now without life coverage. Had you had life coverage since you were a child, and specifically an IUL policy, an Index Universal Life Policy, okay, which builds cash value, which allows you to borrow from it instead of the bank when you're ready to buy your first home, invest in properties, anything that's going to help you mobilize your financial portfolio and not be in debt to a bank. So some of us are uninsurable, right? Because of age and health. That means that the same policy that you may be trying to take out right now in your 40s and 50s is going to cost you double or triple than what it would have if someone would have covered you with a whole life policy when you were young. So one of the things the takeaways I want you to know about this funeral home expense program plan is that for $130, it covers your basic funeral service, your casket, and your vault. Your basic funeral service, your casket, and your vault. This is how it works. It's a group plan. No different than when you start a job and everyone there gets really low benefits for health coverage, right? You only get that when you're a part of what? The group. When you're a part of the group in that business. This is funeral expense coverage as long as you have less than 7, between 4 to 7 people in your group, okay? All right? These are the other things that it covers. It covers suicide. So after 3 days of signing up for this plan, it covers the relocation of your body. A lot of you like to fly out domestically for your birthday, vacation, church trips. You may be a CDL driver, a flight attendant. Every time you take a flight, it increases the likelihood that you may not make it back home. Every time we get in our vehicle, it increases the likelihood that we may not make it back home. So no one is 100% safe, right? Right? None of us, we don't know. So what we do know is that preparation allows our family members to be in a better space when they are grieving our loss. So let's recap this funeral home expense plan. It is a group plan. It is a group plan. So 4 to 7 people, you do not have to be related. You do not have to be related. So if you have friends, church members, listen, this is also for children, young people. So this plan will cover, put your children on this plan. Put your grandchildren on this plan. And let's be honest, okay? We have a lot of people that are doing a lot of reckless things in our families. We have to know that, yes, we're going to pray over them. Yes, we're going to have conversations with them. But they also need to be covered. Because the conversation will roll back around to you. How can you help us with this unforeseen tragedy? It could be wrong place, wrong time. It could be behaviors. But what we want to do is make sure we cover our youth, cover our elders. There could be someone that is not covered. 4 to 7 people, group coverage, $130 a year. If you live through that year, guess what? You just pay $130 for the next year. Keep your life insurance. If you don't have life insurance, get it. If you have it, great. This means that your beneficiary is going to be using less money from the life insurance policy that you left there because it covers your basic funeral service, your casket, and your vault. You may say, I want to be cremated. It covers your urn. It covers the relocation of your body. When you leave here, I want you to Google how much it costs to relocate your body if you go to Jamaica, Hawaii, Miami, Florida, wherever you travel to, Virginia, Asheville, doesn't matter. So there's a cost associated with that. The body has to be prepared to travel, and it cannot travel unless it is fully embalmed and prepared. There's a cost associated with that. So sometimes you may see family members, loved ones, still where they were when a tragedy happened because they weren't prepared to fly them back home. Okay? All right? Now, in your box for funeral home expense program, I want to also add this. There are a few things that are important. No, there is no health screening involved, so you do not have to complete a health screening. However, there are a few categories of people that do not qualify for the funeral home expense program. Number one, if a person has been diagnosed with a terminal illness, meaning if a doctor has said you have 6 months to live, that's a terminal illness, you do not qualify. If a person has any type of brain tumor, so if you have a brain tumor, you do not qualify. Also, if you have active cancer, you do not qualify. However, if or when your cancer is in remission, that is when you sign up for this plan. When the cancer is in remission, so if you have someone that has cancer, but then their cancer is now in remission, they qualify. You can add them to this plan. A lot of coverages do not even go that far and allow you to cover your person that has cancer, even in remission. Okay? The other thing I want to say about this plan is that whenever you look at covering yourself, you want to make sure that you think about other people. So in the box next to the very last box that's empty, I want you to do me a favor and write 1, and this is one up under the other, 1 through 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Straight down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Beside number 1, I want you to put your name. Okay? I want you to write your name beside number 1. You matter. You matter. This is going to save you, your family, a lot of time and money. The other 6, I want you to list people, and this is going on with you. This is not coming with me. So this will be for you. 6 people that you know, they do not have to be related to you, that you know can benefit from this plan. Family, friends, church members, Tuesday Forum people. Yeah, we love y'all too. We family. So if you know people on the surface, and you know maybe, hey, you know what, they don't have a lot of family. They don't have a lot of people that may be able to, this plan will benefit them. This plan will benefit them for $130 a year. At least their basic funeral service, their casket, and their vault will be covered. All right. Okay. Now, I gave everyone a card, and you all wrote 3 digits on that card, right? Is there anyone without a card? Does everyone have an index card? And you wrote 3 digits on that card? All right. So what I'm going to do is raffle off these bags, and based on the number that you have, I've got a little gift for you. I appreciate all that you have done today to be attentive. And I'm gonna say the first number. First three-digit number, or very close to it, 719.
712, thank you.
Okay, 712, anybody else? 724, okay. 730?
No, 700.
700, okay, we're still at, go ahead.
Oh, I'm different. I'm not in the 700.
Okay, so 724 is closer than 712. Yes, sir. Thank you. Next number. Next number, 582. 582, or close to it. 582. Nobody in the 500s? 547. 532.
521.
521. What'd you say your number was? 547. It's closer to 582. Come on out. All right. There you go, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next number, 211. 211. 211. 214. 211. Going once? Going twice? Come on up here, sister. All right, next number, 607. 607. 602. 607. No other 600s? Going once? Going twice? All right, come on up here. Congratulations. All right. 918. 918. 900s? 918. All right, let's go with 818. 800. No, sir. All right, let's do 418. 418. 400s? 442. Any other 400s? It's all yours. Congratulations. All right. And then I have a bonus. The bonus is a free complimentary. Congratulations. Thank you. A complimentary last will and testament. Okay. And if you already have one, you can gift it to someone else. Okay. Complimentary last will and testament. Oh, okay. All right. Number 125. 125.
I got 012.
That's way off.
No, that's 125.
101.
101. Any other 100s? 105. 125. 121. Come on up here. Actually, do me a favor. On your card, write complimentary last will and testament, your name, phone number. Okay. All right. So this is the conclusion of my presentation, and I believe this is the time for questions. All right. All right. So we'll open the floor up for questions. If you have any questions.
Anything. All right, we're going to go into questions. We have the first question from Ken. Congratulations to the prize winners. I don't know how you're going to claim your will and testament. Do that for yourself, but I guess we'll trust it. We'll believe it.
I'll make sure.
Somebody got to.
I know.
I produce memorial photo albums, which are visually documenting that final farewell celebration in a dignified and special, lasting way. And I've done over 3,000 of them.
Oh, wow.
And I am currently implementing what is called a condolence message. Would you like to advertise with a condolence message presenting what you sell that reminds them of this hardship to bury Danny and knowing that Mama and nobody else in the family is prepared for the next one?
Oh, absolutely. I would absolutely be interested in that. Yes, we will talk. Absolutely.
All right, we got a question from Jasmine.
Good morning. Earlier this year, I found myself at the North Carolina Funeral Board Service, or the Board of Funeral Service, however it is in Raleigh. So I met with a whole bunch of morticians, and it was funny or wild because I mentioned how I wanted to be cremated, and all of them looked at me like I cussed them out. What are morticians' problems with cremation or other alternatives to the basic burial?
So to answer that question, generally, right, because specifically that would mean that I would need to know what their specific issue is. But my background is in the cemetery business. So I've worked in cemetery funeral home, okay? And the purpose for this business is strictly due to what I've seen and experienced from the inside. And a lot of it is, so for me, with our community, we don't have the necessary education beforehand, and we have not prepared properly. And there's a lot of money that is in the industry of death. And so even though crematory businesses or even funeral homes that do cremations, they may not prepare the entire process the same. What that means is that just because you want to be cremated does not mean that you will not have a traditional, or what we experience is a traditional funeral service. Because what they will do is allow you, your family member, to rent a casket, have you there, have a full service, and then if you notice, if you've ever attended a funeral service, if there is no cemetery listed on the obituary, that means that that person is getting cremated. So sometimes people think it's because it's cheaper. It's not always cheaper, because it depends on what that person wanted. Sometimes people say, I just want to be straight cremated, spread my ashes or keep my ashes. Sometimes people want a full service. So it just really depends on what you want. A lot of times young people don't ask for cremation. So it could be because, you're a younger person. A lot of times people ask for cremation out of lack of funds for a full service. So I can't really say why that particular company kind of maybe looked surprised or frowned upon it, but I will say that it is the least economical route, so that means that they will make the least amount of money.
Okay, I think that was the answer I was looking for.
All right, we got a question from Sade.
So you said something earlier about if you pass and you have children, where that the courts could take over the money. So if you leave a trust to a child, can you put an age on it when it can be accessed by that child versus it being ruled over by somebody else?
Good question. So in our business, we do have trust experts, okay? So what I want to say to that is this: no one ever owns a trust, okay? So you don't really leave a trust to a child, okay? And it's all in the language, that's all. That's just the language. So what you do is, in that said trust, you have your actual last will and testament. You put that in the trust. Any and everything that is in the trust has to be respected and honored. And in most cases, the court system has very little to no jurisdiction over your trust. They have to do and go exactly along the way that you've listed. So what you will have is a person that will manage the trust. That person may not gain anything from the trust. So you may say, okay, I'm gonna leave my sister, right, to manage my trust, to just make sure that everything that I said, that I've lined up, is going the way that it's supposed to be done. If for some reason sister goes AWOL and she does not, and another family member, this is where the contesting comes in, because anything can be contested. If another sibling or family member says, okay, sister was left a year ago to be the executor of the trust, to manage the trust, and she's not doing all that we know she's supposed to do, the court will step in. And the court will look to see if she's been managing that trust properly. And then they will assign who they want to be over those said directions. So as far as the child is concerned, you put everything in your last will and testament. Make sure that the trust has a copy of the last will and testament is there. And then you also put the parameters, okay? Everything that the trust has, and I know we're steering to a trust conversation, and today's really not about trust, but if you want to be paired with a trust professional, we can link you up with a trust professional and you can have a one-on-one. There are so many ways. There's not one way to do a trust. Okay, there's so many levels of trust that we'd be here all day talking about trust. But just know that yes, you can have the directions for how you want money to be managed, when it's gonna be released to your children, all in your trust.
And just like that, legendary attorney Jared Sumter will be here on June 23rd to talk about trust. So we're gonna learn and what wills of trust. Again, more on this conversation about letters appointed on the 23rd. We got a question from Mr. Lilly.
You may have solved the question. I was going to ask the question as far as what is the financial impact on whoever you leave everything to? Are there added tax burdens and everything that go with what you leave to them?
Right, that is an excellent question. In our society, the conversation is always leave the house to the kids, leave this to the children, or whomever. Before we had so much trust conversation, because it's become more of a conversation, which I absolutely love. I love it. We were doing that. And what happens is a balloon tax payment is due, okay? A balloon tax payment is due to your loved one that you left behind if there's any taxes, fees, or anything owed on your home. And a lot of times, let's just be honest, that happens more times than not. Most people aren't free and clear with their homes. So this is a calculated way for your home to be taken away from your child or whomever you left behind. Very calculated. Put your home in the trust. Put your business in the trust. Put everything in the trust. Put everything in your trust. So I charge you, even if you think you have a little, okay, have conversations with professionals so you can understand how to structure things. Let's think about our everyday checking accounts, right? Our everyday checking accounts. We have the option to put a beneficiary on our checking accounts. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people leave here with unclaimed money. Guess where that money goes? Y'all know where that money goes, okay? So every time we lose someone, it's like we push the reset button. We start over as a family, as a community, and we should not have to. So everything that you have access to, think about this. At least one person or organization, okay? If you feel like you don't have anyone that you can trust or think that they will be responsible, get with the Carolina Sunrise Services, okay? Get with a company that will safeguard your wishes and make sure that you get connected with the right professionals, okay? So that you can safeguard your documents and have it available. It said if something should happen to you, okay?
And there's a state-run government site that you can check to see if you have money out here floating. Steve, I'll send that to you.
That's right.
Unclaimed
cash.
Dr. Blanche Penn, you got a question?
Good morning, good evening, good night, Miss Vicky. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I know you are. Okay, so a quick question. I need your location, and then also I want to understand this. So you're saying we can have 7 people for $130. Is that each person?
Per person.
Per person.
Right. So if you live through the year, you pay your $130. Again, it's an annual per person.
Per person.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clear up, just to make sure in the location.
Mm-hmm. What location are you referring to?
Your location.
Okay.
Is this all on
Yep.
the website or what?
So we are located uptown. We do a lot of our initial consultations via Zoom. So if there is a need for us to meet with the family, we do that by appointment only, and that's when we give our said location. We are not open for people to, there's really no reason for people to visit us in person unless they have an appointment. So we give that appointment once you set up a in-person consultation if need be. Especially when, and let me go back to something. When you're ready to design your marker, your headstone, all of that is done remote. And this came about during COVID. So before we were doing it the traditional way, right? So you come in and you look at a book. And so a lot of cemeteries have now designed, and we also have the same software, a way for you to get a printed color version of what you want. And that means you can add your loved one's picture on it or whatever emblems you want on it. So we do a lot of things initially via remote. So we have a conversation about the need and then get your email address. And then our design team will design, if you want 10 different designs, they'll design them, send them to you, and you can talk it over with your family. That keeps you from having to be stuck with one way of looking at a marker or a headstone from a book. So again, we arrange those appointments by those meetings by appointment only. But we are located uptown Charlotte, and we also will come out to you. So like today or tomorrow, I actually have to go to a facility because someone is there who will not return back home, and they need to. Well, I should not say not. They haven't been given a release date to return back home. So there's a few things that they want to get in order, and their last will and testament is one of those things. I will say this to you also. If you know that there is not someone left behind that is going to handle your affairs, it doesn't mean that you're ushering in death. And listen, in our community, it is one of those conversations that we don't like to talk about because we don't want to have a conversation about transition and death. But I want you to be encouraged to know that you are not in control. None of us are in control. So with all the seatbelt wearing and the good life that we live, things happen out of our control, and we just want to make sure that we protect our legacy, our name. In our name, we don't want chaos and confusion. And the only way to minimize that is to initially document your wishes and cover yourselves.
All right, Nekie, we got about 30 minutes. We got about 7 questions. So if we can, please keep your questions to 30 seconds, and then you can keep your responses to a minute.
Okay.
April.
Sister Girl? Yes, ma'am. How are you?
My question is, I experienced the insurance thing with my grandson when he passed away last March. And my young daughter didn't have no insurance. So me and my sisters had to step in and do what's necessary to get him.
How old was he?
He was 11, he would have been 12 this year.
Mm-hmm.
But he passed away up in Maine. So we're trying to get him back here to North Carolina. But because of the expenses, we end up having to utilize him in Maine. So what do you all do to encourage young people? Because when I was born, my grandparents, that was the automatic thing, you got insurance. What do you do to encourage young people, not somebody that's 40, 50 and up, because we're supposed to know better? And what do you all do with young people that are young parents to encourage them to get insurance for their kids? Because she has no insurance. And I guess you thought he was going to live forever. But what do you do?
That's a great question. Every Sunday, I am live on Streets 103.3, your dial, right? Your radio dial. During the week, that is a hip hop station, okay? On Sundays, it's an inspirational station. So on Streets 103.3, okay, FM, I'm live on radio, and we also go live on all social media platforms. We strategically want to be in that space for that reason. Strategically. And you're right, that's why I mentioned that your last will and testament, if you're 25 years and younger, is only $75. We wanted to give them at least 50% off of what it will cost our older population of people, okay? So that's another caveat. Okay, so we want to be on radio where we know a lot of our young people are going to be listening in, on social media, and we do things like this. We're in the community. So we're in the community, and one of the reasons why I wanted you to write notes and I want you to keep what you have and take back to your family members so you can share it with your family. This is the only way that we could do that.
Duval?
Good morning, good to see you again.
Happy New Day, good to see you again.
Thanks. Is this a burial insurance? Because what I didn't hear was opening and closing in that cost, which we know is separate. So does it cover that? Is it a burial insurance?
So you will never, ever get coverage on real estate. The ground is real estate. Plots is real estate. That's why they give you a deed when you buy. If you've ever purchased a plot, they give you a deed. And the deed has your name on it. You own that land, that piece of land. We cannot, because real estate changes, we could never include for $130 your plot. Because right now, some of those plots are between $1,500 to $2,000 just for the space. That doesn't include the opening of that space. So when you have to get, if you've ever had to sit down and do this, you know this, but if not, let me just quickly say this. When you go to a cemetery, you choose a location where your loved one will be buried. They have to cut out a space for them, and they have to open it. That's what they call opening. All right, once they are lured down after the service, they have to close it. It's called opening and close. It could never be included in any type of plan because they control how much they charge you. And so on Monday, it could be one thing. I'm exaggerating right now. On Friday, it could be something different. What I mean by that is it has jumped tremendously. I have watched it jump. When I worked in a cemetery, it was in the hundreds. It's in the thousands. It's in the thousands right now. So it will behoove you. This is what I did before my father transitioned, and I'm so glad I did this. And we all have this. We have the 7 people plan. We have 7 people. I have a lot of life insurance. Okay? We chose our spots. We have everything covered, locked in. So whatever you're paying today, we won't pay today. We will just utilize what we paid for. But that's a great question. So real estate is not included. Behoove you to get to a cemetery. You already know where you want to be. Choose your space and pay on that space.
It's an affordable housing crisis in Charlotte everywhere, huh?
Yes.
All right, buddy, go ahead.
Even in the cemetery.
That's right. Oh, boy, what's going on, man?
One thing I wanted to say, thank you so much for having this conversation. Beyond my 9-to-5 job, I actually work with children's burial assistants. And we actually do this across the country. We have about 4,000 plots across the country. Just a statement of yours is, please, please, please cover your children. We get so many requests of headstones, transporting their children, even overseas. And so I would love to connect with you and talk about this because we get a lot of requests. Okay. And so we only cover, of course, the burial plots. But we do kind of talk through what it looks like for funeral expenses. And so people just don't have the coverage on their children. Right. And so stillbirth all the way to 21 is what we cover. So I just want to say thank you so much for what you're talking about because a lot of parents do not think of their children passing before them. Right. And so it's a conversation that needs to be had. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Rob?
My question was this. You said that there's no screenings, but then you have all these exceptions. What are we going on the honor system? How are we?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So there is no pre-screening, meaning that you do everything over the phone. So let's just say you called up and you said, hey, I have 4 other people, 6 other people, right? And then you give, all you're giving is that person's full legal name and their home address. This is important because we travel. And if our bodies needed to be sent back home, we need to know where home is, okay? So home can be in any state. You may live in Charlotte, but you may want to be buried in New York. Home may be in New Jersey, Florida, right? So to your question regarding pre-screening, yes, it is the honor system. But just like life insurance, you will get denied. If there is, because what happens is, the process of burial, the process of funeral coverage includes also death certificates, right? But before that, there are medical records that are provided. So if there's anything that you've said or done and you weren't forthcoming, that person can be denied. So you don't want to play with that. You want to be forthcoming. So yes, if you have active cancer, now cancer in remission will be dated. Or your cancer is in remission, it's dated in your record. So to that point, yes, you're still covered with if it's in remission. But terminal illness, brain tumor, and I didn't say this. I want to make sure I don't remember if I said this. Dialysis. If you're on dialysis, you do not qualify. I don't think I said that. I apologize. That's a big one. That's a big one. So if you're on dialysis, you don't qualify. And it's because it's kind of in that category of some people may live. I know someone who lived 20 years. But then there's some people that don't. And that's because other things happen. Heart failure. There's a lot of things that happen, with fluid, filling up in your lungs. There's a lot of things medical. So dialysis is one of them. So this it goes back to the children. This is our reminder before we experience these things. Cover yourself, cover your grandchildren. Get them covered. So we don't have to have this conversation. Well, I don't qualify because I'm older and I have all these health issues. Age is the issue with life insurance. You could be in great health.
So I have the next question. I'm hearing this talk about the 7 people you can choose in medical records. And I know for contextual purposes, the conversation has been about children. However, I just happened to watch the Murdoch documentary on Netflix yesterday, and he took out like a $400,000 policy on his housekeeper, but didn't give the money to her children.
They only got like 50,000. Right.
There you go. So how can you just?
So they call that insurable interest. So if I take you in, we don't have to be related. Let's just say I meet a homeless person, and I decide to take them in. So I didn't know them before. And I decide to provide them housing, I feed them, I make sure that they're good. I take them to doctor's appointments, I do whatever it is that's necessary to help them out. I now have an insurable interest. And that is a life insurance. That is not a new thing. See, in our community, in our families, and I keep saying that so we can have more information and more dialogue. Someone that you're taking care of right now, you have insurable interests. So you can very well be in a position to have them covered with a life insurance policy. Or the flip side, let's just say they're not insurable because they have a lot of health issues. Getting them on this plan, 4 to 7 people plan, will help you minimize what you're going to have to pay out of pocket. Let's just say you're left taking care of Auntie, and all of Auntie's children are gone. Or maybe she never had children, but you're taking care of her. So the insurable interest, and that's a thing, write that word down, Google it, read about it, it's a thing. And so with him, there's all loopholes when it comes to, I don't know about the person that he employed, but my thing is a lot of times the loopholes are, have I ever provided them any place to stay? Have I ever done anything to help them? And so if I'm an adult and I allow you to take insurance out on me, then it's well within the rights of the person to get that money if something shall happen to you.
Well, we are going to have an uptick in Good Samaritans. We have a question. Ms. Donnell.
Yes, right here. Good morning.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Darnell Ivory. And I just want to know, how legitimate is Jonathan with Colonial Penn, who talks about $9.95 a month for a life insurance policy in seniors?
Oh, I have no idea how legit anyone else is. I just know Carolina Sunrise Service is legit. So we put everything that we have, we've already put it to test. We've had someone to need our coverage plan. We've installed several headstones and bronze markers in not all of the cemeteries, because we gotta have a lot, but all your major cemeteries, your Memorial Park, Bates Ford Road, Oakland, all of those we've done business with, and also those in South Carolina.
What's the average price of a headstone?
So I don't do that because, so there's no such thing as an average price of a headstone. And I'm gonna tell you why. Headstones, let's start with the upright headstone, which is not as traditional in Charlotte as the flat bronze marker. So the flat bronze marker is the marker that sits very flat, flush to the ground. It sits on granite, first of all. So back in the day, they didn't have the granite as the base. So if you look at the older flats, they're sunken in the ground because they don't really have anything to keep them from sinking. So the base is wider than the actual bronze marker. So first you have that. That can be any color. Depending on the color you choose, whether it's coming from China, India, wherever it comes from, Michigan, okay, boom, we have a different price. Then you go with the actual bronze, which is 100% bronze. It is supposed to, and it will, sit in the sun, okay, for many, many generations and not fade. Bronze, okay? Your bronze marker can have a different color background. Black, purple, green, whatever color you choose. Now, if you're in Vegas Fort Road, they only let you do brown. They only let you do brown.
That's about right.
That's it. So then you come to, I want my person's picture on there, or I don't, or I want emblems. I want different, so it really depends on what you design. So there really is no average price for a marker, but I will say this. The Carolina Sunrise Services, and I love for people to do this. I want you to go to your cemetery first. Design your marker with them first. Get your price with them first. Then come to us. We give you the identical marker, better price. And I'll give you one example. A wife from your Memorial Park reached out to us with a $9,000 marker quote, okay, from your Memorial Park. We gave her that same exact marker for $3,500. So does that help you?
It gives context. Mr. Combs. No, I'm sorry. Ms. Addie, then Mr. Combs.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yes.
Just a quick question. How does my family avoid probate?
Okay, great question. So you don't avoid probate 100% totally, okay? So initially, unless you have, okay, do you have a trust? Not yet.
I've gotten everything. It's too much anxiety to
Okay.
about the stuff that I've already
Okay.
put in place.
So the average person doesn't have a trust. So all of us, anyone that doesn't have a trust, 100% you're going to connect with probate, and the percentage depends on how you structure everything, okay? So what happens is, when someone is listed as your executor of your last will and testament.
Okay, right there. What if my executive dies before me?
Okay, so you would never leave one day. You will not let the sun go down without updating a last will and testament of a person that has transitioned. You call the company or the attorney that did your last will and testament, I need to update my will. That has happened.
No, what I'm saying is,
Ms. Addie,
if
y'all
I
got
die,
to talk offline.
okay, if I died before my executor.
So they would execute your will. That's the purpose of you putting them in position.
We're going to get you right, Ms. Addie. Don't worry about it. Mr. Combs.
I got you.
We got you.
Sign
It
up
was
for a
village.
consultation. Yes.
I suggest you raise your minimum age to 40.
Say that again?
I suggest you raise your minimum age from 25 to 40.
What, oh, the 25. Well, that's just to help our young people.
Yeah.
That's to help our young people.
They still be helped. In cemeteries, you'll notice, as I have anyway, that a lot of cemeteries now are going with the flat stones because the headstones are a maintenance nightmare in perpetual care cemeteries. So that has been one of the things that I've been concerned about. But in the context of how these families actually execute on getting these things done, to what extent would this apply to a family who may not have any of the knowledge? Is that where you come in and then advise them, but also you talk about percentages in terms of $9,000 versus $3,500? You still get a profit.
Right. So all of that, even that same woman who walked out of there with a $9,000 marker could have gotten a $7,000. So what we need to understand is you will not find on a cemetery website or a funeral home website pricing. You won't find it. You will not find it. And the reason why you won't find it is because they control the narrative. And so this is not a position where, because we're gonna need their services. It's not a position where we're here to bash them for their pricing. Because it's just like if you own a business, if you're a stylist, right, you have your pricing. Your price is your price. What we have to do is be more prepared. There's two things that happen in life. Okay, we're gonna come in here, we're gonna be born, and we're gonna transition. That means we're gonna die. Okay, physically leave this place. Okay, what they call is, in the cemetery funeral home business, pre-need and at-need. Pre-need means you are going, this is the language, okay? Pre-need means you are going to set up everything you need before you need it. Take it from me. When it's at-need, they don't negotiate. They do not play with numbers. They will not haggle. They do not care. And I'm saying that in the most sincere way possible because the onus is on you. Why should they? Why should my price be a different price because you didn't do what you were supposed to do? So really, I'm not, if nothing else, it should be teaching y'all a lesson, us a lesson, because it's a learning lesson. Get everything you need before you need it, pre-need.
All right, we got Duval, we have Sade, and we have Rob.
It's not so much a question, but a suggestion, piggybacking off what you just said. I'm just encouraging everybody here and listening and watching, create a love folder. In my house is a drawer, reach down is a white folder, step-by-step instructions on what to do, who to contact everybody when I die. I hate saying pass, but because you're gonna die. But my wife knows to open that folder, call retirement services, call this funeral home. Okay, step by step, 45 seconds. I know. Step by step. So I encourage you to get a love folder.
That's a great suggestion.
The time is 30 seconds.
All right, Sade.
Great suggestion.
And Rob, you want to close this out?
So you spoke about insurable interest. So let's say it's people who are single parents. Could they insurable interest their partner who is not, their previous partner who wasn't there or isn't there for their children? Does that make sense?
Nope, that doesn't make sense.
Okay, let's say you're a single parent. Like the father or the mother isn't in that person's life. Could you do insurable interest on the other parent?
No. So insurable interest.
I don't have children, but I have cousins.
I understand.
So.
I understand the question now. Her question is this:
I know what kind of podcast you like.
Two parents are co-parenting in separate households. Her question is, can her insurable interest be on the dad or the other parent? And the answer is no. So the reason why is because he's not in your dwelling, you're not taking care of him. But if he was there and he physically couldn't help, right, you would naturally, I hope, have life insurance anyway on your partner. This is something that's important. When I first got married, that was like a no-brainer, right? And IULs are across the board for us. We have IULs for the children, IULs for us. So at least talk to him about getting an IUL.
We don't know acronyms.
IUL means Index Universal Life Policy.
Nobody will understand.
Index Universal Life Policy. We have professional licensed insurance agents are also a part of our team. They sit down with you and make sure that you get the right coverage.
All right, Rob.
I'm going to pass my last question over to him because he has some knowledge that can help answer your question.
Okay.
Thank you. Absolutely. And she's 100% right. Some thousands better than no thousands. But I want to talk about insurable interest to that point. So in the event, we've got clients where there are two parents living in separate households, both are contributing funds to the well-being of that child, right? So now I have a life that depends on the $50,000 you contribute to this child, daycare, food, clothing. If you pass away, I lose that access to $50,000 that then supports that child. That, in our world, is insurable interest. Just to add to that, that's all I got.
Are you an insurance agent?
New York Life.
New York
Life Insurance Company.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So maybe you could get with her because most of the policies that we have, there's a lot of legalities and loopholes that will not.
We got time to read the fine print later for everybody, but right now we got 3 minutes and Ms. McClady.
Thank you for that.
I just want to say thank you to Nekie Boyd for coming. She is an entrepreneur. This is her business, and that's why she was brought in, because she's an entrepreneur in Charlotte. And she also promotes businesses, small businesses, on her radio show. She has guests that comes and talk on her show, and she highlights these businesses. So we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And
Ms. Nekie Boyd, you got a minute for your closing statement. Tell us how to contact you and tell us everything we need to know.
Thank you for that, Ms. Laura. And to Ms. Laura's point, I appreciate that plug. For on Streets 103.3 every Sunday at 10 a.m. I am live on your radio dial. You can also go on your website, their website, and see us streaming live. And it is a platform for Black-owned businesses. These are nonprofit and for-profit business owners. So we do highlight you, allow you to come in live with us and speak on what you're doing, whether it's an annual event, a give back, or a product or service. I'd like to say thank you so much for your attention today. Your questions were great, and I want to make sure that I connect with the professionals in the room so that we can continue to mobilize the message. Carolina Sunrise Services is for all people, okay? So there's nobody that is not included in this, because we are all going to have the day, and we want to make sure that we're prepared for that day. So thank you and have an amazing week.
And we started it. Thank you so much, Nekie Boyd. Please give her a round of applause. Dr. Thomas, play us out. Again, check the website too. We have Vicki Craighead Davis next week. She provides temporary canopy housing for the homeless. I believe she is Executive Director of Building Hope, Building Commitment, a North Carolina nonprofit advancing a retention first housing option for our houses